Hey there, cuties. It's me, Frank. Hey, no bad news this time. If you listened to our exciting Season 1 conclusion, you may have noticed our passionate star, Josie Heller, kind of took off there at the end. And, you know Josie. Oh, nothing to worry about. She'll be back soon. She just needs a little her time, I'm positive. You know, we'll see our Josie Heller soon enough, as soon as she's back from Monaco or the French Riviera or wherever no good librarian gets in Mexico. But until she once again decides to grace us with her presence, we at KDNM have an empty slot that needs filling. Sorry, that sounds dirty. You might find yourself with a hole that needs filling. Nope, that's just as bad. In any case, if you like our show, then I think this is going to be right up your alley. No? This week, we're going to feature another show that, like ours, presents romance and comedy, gets people together. The only difference is their show is about wizards. That's right, introducing Wizard Seeking Wizard. It's a show where masters of the arcane need a little help finding that magic, if you know what I'm saying. Every week, Chemistro, the match mage, features members of the online community coming together and putting in their little date tapes so they can find that most mysterious magical thing of all, true love. Ain't that sweet? So this here is just their pilot, but they have loads more on their page, and if you ever want to take their load, hop on over. The details are in the show notes below. So sit back and enjoy the show, and I'll see you cuties next week.
All right, Cupid, open up that beak. Daddy is making his podcast.
That's a good hawk. Hey, listener. My name is Chemistro, the Match Mage, and welcome to Wizard Seeking Wizard, the dating show for wizards. Let me see if I can find the tape cassette of the theme song. Here it is.
Hello, you must be looking for love. This is Wizard Seeking Wizard.
Wonderful. Welcome to our first episode. As I said, I'm Chemistro, and I'll be your host. As happens to every wizard eventually, I was betrayed by my students, one Smoochulon the Smug, and imprisoned here in this crystal sphere between worlds. In order to while away the long days, eons. It all blurs together here. I've decided to start a wizard dating podcast, where I use my immense wisdom in order to help wizards find each other. Also, it should help me stay sane. There's not a lot to do in a crystal prison between worlds. It's kind of either go mad or start a podcast. So I've wired up my hawk, old Cupid here, to record audio, and I've put out the call to lonely wizards throughout the multiverse for their personal ads, for whatever sort of relationship they seek. And together, listener, we shall help them find the wizard of their dreams. Now, pay close attention, for I am unable to influence the outside world, and when the podcast is done, it shall be your votes that decide which mages meet here on Wizard Seeking Wizard. Now, there are many kinds of wizard relationship, but the kind that we all know best is romance. 2 hearts, or more, or less. However many hearts you have, I'm not here to judge about hearts. Meeting as one. Finding a life, or unlife, partner for our necromancer friends. On this episode, we're going to focus on helping those wizards out there who are looking for love to find one another. You know, there really is nothing more powerful than wizard relationship energy. Here, let me show you. Do you remember your first summer wizard romance? When you were a young apprentice forced to forage for spell components down by the train tracks, and your hand met another's reaching for the same toadstool? Do you remember what magic words went through your mind when your eyes met eyes beneath a cap just as pointy as your own. Say them now, listener. Those were some good magic words. Let's take some of those vibes and channel them into my crystal ball here. Oh, yes, the signal is coming in wonderfully clear. Listen now to the tale of Hyacinth Howell and his heart that yearns for romance.
Hi there. My name is Hyacinth Howell. I'm 25 and living in Delftier. I found the ad for this a little while ago. It manifested on the event board in the bookstore I own. I almost forgot about it, but a friend of mine told me I should give it a shot. He's always trying to push me to do and try new things, so here I am, giving it a shot. I run a bookstore called The Howlery. It's been in my family for 4 generations now, and I guess my great-great-grandmother had a thing for puns. Books have always been a part of my life. My favorite books have always been horror novels and mysteries, but I love getting to read about archaeology, history, unsolved mysteries, and mythology from around the world. Besides books, I love going to museums and exploring new places in the city. I'm always up for an adventure. My friend brings me out to parties, bars, carnivals, and concerts, which is always a ton of fun. He gets that side of me. I'm looking for someone to fall in love with. Not rivals or collaborators, just wanting to have a happy ending of my own. Or at least a happy story. I want to meet someone who makes me feel like there's something more to life. Someone caring and curious about the world around them. Someone who likes to find the gem in every stone. Someone who understands me and wants to be with me. So, yeah, if you're out there, I'd like to talk.
Oh, Hyacinth, I hope you find what you're looking for. Though I think perhaps there is somebody already taken up residence in there, much like the heart-dwelling cardioid macaques of the slumbering mountains. Except, in this case, it's not a tiny 4-armed ape in your aortic valve. It's unrequited love. Well, perhaps we can get that monkey out your heart with the love of a sweet wizard. Now, this next ad was brought to my crystal sphere in the talons of an owl, which banged against the side over and over until I managed to convince it to play the tape outside while I had Cupid here record it by using his beak as a contact mic, pressed closely against the side of the sphere, picking up every vibration. I still don't know how that owl found its way into the walls between worlds, but it looked quite expensive, so I imagine it was a deluxe owl. But enough idle owl speculation. This next ad comes from Annie, a wizarding student about to enter her 7th year at an institute of wizard learning that I am legally prohibited from mentioning. Let me just cue up the tape.
Hi, my name's Annie, and in September I'll be going into my 7th year of Magic Wizard School, which is super exciting. I'm looking for someone who's really good looking, really, really very attractive, and at least 2, but ideally at least 4 inches taller than me, so I can wear heels. Also, he should have not creepy parents. Good parents. Okay, I come from an all-wizard, pure plasma family, but that's not important. The important part is, they're rich. They're rich and they, own a boat rich. I mean, it's important that his mom is, really, really sweet, and maybe she, bakes cookies or whatever, and his dad is, super hot. Really, really very hot and attractive. Because if his dad is super hot, that means he's gonna be super hot or will get hotter soon, which is all very, very important. And then they can invite me to like loads of fab family vacations, and we can get lots of pictures, and we can post them all over like social media, which is like a cool thing that non-plazas do, but it's still like super fun despite it. Yeah, I think that would be like ideally really great. And we can like go on dates, like I like going shopping and going to concerts and like buying things from stores and like going to eat like food on dates. That's really fun. Oh, okay. This is a really fun, super awesome date idea. You can go to a cafe that's like a non-class cafe. So like they don't know that you can do magic, but you can. Okay, so you go to the cafe and then you order an iced latte and then they bring it to you and then you turn it hot and then you say, excuse me, I ordered an iced latte, but this is a hot latte. And they say, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I thought I brought you a iced latte. And you say, no, do I look like I have a iced latte in front of me? And then they say, no, that looks like a hot latte. And then you say, can you please go get me what you're supposed to? Thank you. And then they bring you another iced latte. And then you turn that hot too. And then they bring it out. And they're like, oh my goodness, in my hands, it just turned hot and I don't know what happened. And you're like, wow, you're really bad at your job, aren't you? And they're like, oh my goodness, I'm not sure what's going on right now. I'm so sorry, miss. And you say, go get me an iced latte. And they bring you an iced latte and then you turn it hot. And then they cry and then you get free dessert. And it's so fun. My ex-boyfriend Tommy and I did that once, and it was like a really fun time, and we had a lot of fun. Can I just say something, please? Just because you're captain of the Magic Broom Flying team sport, it doesn't mean you can like do whatever you want to do, okay? Like anyone can prevent balls from flying in your face, okay? Anyone can, and it doesn't mean you can just do whatever you want to do whatever you want. I mean, you can't just like break up with someone. Like maybe it was just like 2 weeks before her birthday. And she was like really looking forward to it, and you broke up with her. It's done. I would like my next boyfriend to be very, very hot, to be very, very athletic and talented, to be like a really good wizard, to be like rich and have rich parents and a hot dad and be like a nice guy. Okay, that's all about me. I'm Annie. I'm gonna be in my 7th year of Magic Wizard School. And I'm looking for love. Bye.
Wow. This is a judgment-free sphere, but Annie, you seem just awful. And that's coming from me, a wizard trapped in a crystal sphere. Also, that ad was worryingly DILF-focused. I think I need to take a quick break to think about that one. Cupid, play a message from one of our sponsors. Thank you, Cupid. That was a wonderful sponsorship. We started getting them arriving on the Ether subway, so I figured, why not play an ad and sort out the payment later, when I'm no longer in this terrible sphere. One day. Before I bring you any more wizard personals, I'd like to share with you my spell of the week. I'm an older wizard, and my feet get tired from standing around the old sphere all day, so I'm going to show you a personal favorite spell. A chair summoning. To summon for yourself the most comfortable of chairs. As with any spell, first make sure that you have the proper material components in stock. For this spell, I'll be needing distilled grunts of relaxation, harvested upon the full moon when workers returning home loosened their belts at last. Go. Acknowledge that the price of your comfort will be that somewhere in the universe, 3 bolts and a screw will vanish from an IKEA kit, never to be found again. And trace the sigil of Tempest the Prime, of the Vision Telegraphic, in the air with your wands. A box within a box, crowned by the Holy V. Then, chant the incantation of Yob-Ez-Ezal, the Demon Prince of Comfort. Does it we aren't not speciellt på Ilmore, as me no gaiogen is panset. Snäppet sig låla så rätt sig snabba man för muhof. Så köpet det suxigt som ett snirra uppskrivde. Vi ser. Now, sit back and relax, as the most comfortable of seats rises beneath you. Take care not to pass gas into its form, for it is mildly sentient, and that is very rude. Also, it can use that scent to track you to the ends of the earth when it metamorphoses out of its larval form. But don't worry too much about that, you'll be long dead by the time it hatches. Mostly it's just rude to the chair. That's a good sit. Anyway, let's hear from our next wizard seeking love. Say hello to Bernadinaton. Bernadinaton is a specialist in cat-based magic, looking for someone to share their 9 lives with.
Hello, I am Bernadinaton. I am a 468-year-old wizard, and I am looking for love. I live on the edge of town in an adorable derelict mansion. My interests include baking, gardening, bone collecting, and cats. Cats are somewhat of a given. I was formerly trained at Wortherston School of Wizardry and received my degree in cat-based magics with a minor in communications. I currently have 32 cats as familiars. In my spare time, I enjoy teaching them tricks, such as tap dancing or breaking every human law. I love each one of my jellicle friends with all of my heart, which is currently in a beautiful vase over the fireplace. My idea of the perfect date would be a lovely dinner set to candlelight and music. Very romantic and cozy. Maybe a local French bistro or a Taco Bell. After, we could stroll along the river and discuss divination techniques. I'm a fan of Mungo Jerry's theory on ley lines and their effect on kitten summoning. But I love to hear new opinions and thoughts. My deal breakers are leaving ancient tomes on the floors, not putting the cap back onto the toothpaste tube, and cauldrons. They make no sense anymore. Just get a large crock pot. They work just as well and are far less of a hassle. The open fire, the soot, the awkward hook and chain setup, it is so cumbersome. And besides, they're so expensive nowadays. And it's not like the quality is what it used to be. Back in the day, I could buy a 40-gallon cauldron for a couple bets. And now they want how much? Pointless. Besides, who makes potions in those quantities anymore? I bought myself one of those instant pots a few years ago, and I'm never going back. Plus, it has a yogurt setting, which I just think is neat. Well, if this old wizard has caught your fancy, don't hesitate to send a raven. Or an email. I do have a laptop now.
yes. There's nothing like the love of a good familiar. Cupid here has been with me through thick and thin, haven't you, old friend? No, that doesn't mean you get to eat my bacon in the morning. Because it would play merry hell with your tummy. And it's mine. But I do appreciate you diving into this sphere with me. Even though it might actually have been better for you to stay outside to work on rescuing me. No, I'm not ungrateful. It was the heat of the moment, and I'm proud of you. But I would also have been proud of you saving me. How am I being passive-aggressive? Let's talk about this after the show, all right? I love you. You have to say it back. That's a good hawk. Sorry about that, listeners. This next wizard ad floated into my sphere, dripping with seawater and smelling of fish. I dried it out over my cauldron's fire. Let's see your crockpot do that, Bernardinaton. And it should be ready to play right about now. I don't know if I got all the seawater out, so my apologies if this ad sounds a bit briny. This ad comes from Turpin Muldoon, the seafaring seer.
Hi there. Name's Turpin Muldoon. Some folks know me as the seafaring seer. Let's see, a little about myself. I was born the son of an old sailing salt. He, sailed around, left my ma for long stretches of time, and didn't really know him all that much. But grew up in a fishing village myself, and then I went off to the local arcane university and learned the ways of magics. Turns out excelled pretty well at the divination and astrology portions of my studies, so I took a job on a sailing vessel myself, following my pa's footsteps, and became a pretty adept hand at being able to tell what the weather was going to be like and when. Of course, it helped that I knew the stars pretty good too, so I was able to help out with the navigation here and there. What am I looking for? Well, there's a point in your life where you see the insides of a fish on the outsides of its body, and it gets to be a little bit much to stomach. So I'm looking to settle down. A nice quiet cottage by the sea, maybe. Could even see myself living in a lighthouse. If I could settle down with a nice handsome fella, that'd be pretty nice, maybe someone with a big burly beard, mustache, and a muscly type of guy, or a handsome lady. I could see myself settling down with a handsome lady as well. I could maybe open a little candy shop or ice cream parlor on the side of a sea where the wind hits just right. Not too stormy, not too calm. Maybe a nice breeze off the seas. Oh, there I go again, rhyming. I don't mean to, but it's a nervous thing, I suppose. Anyway, so if you're a handsome wizard type who's maybe into making sweets in a little bakery, or like I said, lovely lady type who runs a lighthouse, I could see myself settling down with you, having a nice romantic night by the fireplace. Of course, if you're just looking for someone to maybe take on some work in a lighthouse or a candy shop or ice cream parlor, I am just also looking for a job. So either one. Job or love, true love. Either one sounds good. Either one sounds good. Thanks, I suppose.
Thank you, Turpin. I hope that you find the handsome wizard that you're looking for to settle in whatever lighthouse or boat that you may float into love. It's right there. It's so easy. Sorry. Thank you for joining me today, listener. Now that you have heard from all of the wizards seeking love on this program, please make your way to our social media account on Twitter at Wiz4Wiz. That's Wiz, W-I-Z, the number 4, Wiz, which is managed by Cupid here to vote on who should date who. We'll hear from them next episode on how their dates went. Again, that's Wiz, the number 4, Wiz on Twitter, and please vote for who should go on a date, because I can't do it due to this damn crystal prison. Making this podcast has done me a world of good, Cupid. I can feel it keeping me sane. And the wizard relationship energy it's unleashed in here, it's invigorating. I feel like a young wizard again, 200 years old with booty in my shorts and a beard on my face. Well, I still have a beard on my face, but you get it, right, Cupid? Yeah, you get it. What do you mean I better have a way to manage the energy? What could go wrong? We're in a crystal sphere in between worlds. You're just being paranoid, you sweet old fuck. After all, that's the worst that What was that? Cupid. In the sphere. There's a crack. Thank you for listening to Wizard Seeking Wizard. This is a community project made to give people something fun to do during our long isolations. In this episode,
Davis Walden
was Hyacinth Howell. You can find him on Twitter at Davis Walden. He makes the audio drama podcast The Viridian Wilds about a naturalist with the sight adventuring with fairy creatures.
Lauren Chapman.
Was Annie the 7th Year. You can find her on Twitter at Lauren Chappa. That's Lauren, C-H-A-P-P-A.
Lilith Penrod.
Was Bernadinaton the Cat Mage. You can find them on Twitter at Cheerio Buffet. They also make the Star Wars actual play podcast Tabletop Squadron, which is now beginning its 2nd season. You can catch up with their catch-up episode, available now on your podcatcher. You can also find them on Twitter at tabletop_squad.
Jared Mason.
Was Turpin Muldoon. You can find him on Twitter at Jared E. Mason and on Instagram at JEMason921. Our theme song was written and performed by Mess and Finesse Studios in Somerville. You can find them on Twitter at Mess+Finesse. Our logo was designed by Julie Benbasset. You can find her on Instagram at T_4_JBASS or on Twitter at art_of_JBASS. Wizard ads were written and performed by the person portraying that wizard. The rest of the episode was written by me, Max Kreisky. I also did the sound design and some of the sound design for the wizard ads as well. I also produce the podcast True Tales of the Illuminati. We'd love it if you listen to True Tales. It's an office sitcom about the Illuminati set in ancient Egypt. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next time here on Wizard Seeking Wizard.